All right, so the music is cued with this. Need to come out of the share and cue the music up. After all, what good is a share if the music isn't cued, right? Okay, now we can add the music to the logo. We're going to simplify this process as well coming soon as we again familiarize ourselves with technology. Yes, nonetheless, having fun the whole time. Learning as we grow. Now we float with the chi. All right, hit help and wholeness to all. Once again, you are now flowing with the chi, also known as the Collective Health Initiative, your holistic HMO. And with that, you are now tuned in for another episode of the Health Class You Never Had, which is our weekly dose of suggestions and possible causes, as well as suggestions on various health challenges that we may face individually, as well as a community. And with that, just a reminder, we are not medical doctors. We are simply indigenous health practitioners, just sharing our experiences over the years from working with individuals as well as self. And with that, let's take a look at who will be presenting on today's show. We have our herbalist, holistic health consultant, founder of U360, Dr. U in the house.
Peace, family. Hope everybody's doing well today. Glad to be back with you again for another episode of the Health Class You Never Had. Thank you for joining us.
Right on, right on. We also have with us our sacred arts curator, metaphysician, Precious Mother Love, founder of Love Plus Art Equals Wellness.
Yes, yes. One Love and Wellness, top of the day, everyone. Happy Monday. We made it through another wonderful weekend, and we are on the other side of COVID. We are beating and whipping that bad boy. We're showing you so many ways. Stay tuned.
Right on, right on. And also we have in the house Miss Precious Porter. She is a drama therapist. Trauma and drama, they rhyme so much. And, you know, of course, she is an actress in that field as well. Love drama, you know, theater, one woman shows the whole nine. So she does drama as well as trauma. But nonetheless, on today's show, she's here to actually speak on that traumatic side, traumatic with the T, right? And she deals with crisis intervention, behavior intervention, domestic violence, victim advocacy, also one woman show, No More Drama, Love Should Not Hurt, as well as, again, drama therapist, Miss Precious Porter, founder of Precious LLC.
Great day, everyone. I just want everybody to sit back, take in the information that we give you today, because as usual, we're giving you some stuff to help it make it through this season, some practical things that you could do.
Right on, right on. And I am Master Shep, your Kemetic metaphysical warrior priest and founder of Soul Healing. And also want to give a shout out to Sister Clarice. She is our natural product specialist and founder of Rooted in Nature. She is on the board today. Also give a shout out to our agriculturalist, the organic indigenous African farmer, as well as herbalist and consultant, founder of Royal Reset, Sister Stefan. She is also, viewing and holding that vibration, as well as Sister Catnew, the founder of A Soul for Touch, massage therapist, herbalist, women specialist healer. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. Yeah. Nonetheless, as a reminder, you can find all of our contact info on our webpage, which will be posted later, iamit.me, I am health.
And Mama Elaine Williams. Got to
That's
give
right.
a shout out to Mommy Lane Williams.
Breath
Uh,
master.
indeed, indeed. And yoga specialist as well.
Yes, yes, yes. Give thanks for that reminder. And um, even more so, she was going to be on the show as well. Nonetheless, she's on her way right now with an emergency that come up. So we want to hold that vibration as well. Again, we're all going through the same thing in a sense. You know, we're all affected some way during the season, and as she is on her way, you know, to Kaiser for whatever situation you have, want to have her lifted in prayer as well as anyone else who may be directly affected right now or have been affected and still looking for answers or coming out on the other side, you know, to get back to some level of peace of mind, emotional stability, as well as, you know, just confident and safe for your own mental awareness. So again, we're here once a week to share information that will be able to support that, again, from a holistic perspective. Just a reminder, holistic meaning we're taking into account our physical body, emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, and the environment and the relationship of all of those. And that relationship between those entities really dictate or will support optimal health or will take away from optimal health. So again, your holistic HMO looks at things from a holistic perspective so we can promote optimal health. And with that, let's get right on with today's topic, keeping in line with these mini series, this emotional wellness mini series. Once again, there can be the symptoms, like what we feel can be like the same for emotional, you know, it can be the same. Nonetheless, as you watch the episodes and listen to as we present, there is a sort of distinction on the cause of this feeling as well as how to resolve it. Again, we resolve things based upon their cause, although there are a lot of things that can have the similar effects. But again, if you understand the cause of this effect, which could be, there's an infinite causes for the same effect. So looking at the causes of certain effects and then ways to relieve that, you know, that's what we're doing here, very subtly, especially with the emotions. And with that, today's topic is anger, ascending anger, right? How to, you know, move past anger in a healthy manner. And
Mm-hmm.
starting off this topic is our drama. There we go again.
Trauma.
That was very dramatic, was it not? It seemed to be very dramatic. Just put it out there. But nonetheless, trauma specialist. Trauma specialist, indeed. Sister Precious Porter, Precious LLC.
Thank you, Esha. Again, I'm going to start with the definition because I think it's really clear it's always important to be clear about what it is we're talking about. So if you look at anger, anger is an emotion characterized by antagonism towards someone or something that you feel has done you wrong, right? Anger has triggers. You know, when you get angry, something caused that to happen. Those triggers could be losing patience, when you feel like your opinion or ideas have not been respected, you know, that could trigger anger. Or you can have traumatic memories, you know, something happened or you see something happen and it reminds you of something that could cause you to be angry. Okay? There are 3 types of anger. You got passive aggression, when you don't feel like confronting a situation. It's kind of when you deal with people on the back end, like maybe you give people the silent treatment. That's a passive aggressive form of anger. Maybe you omit giving information to someone that you feel could be helpful to them. That's a passive aggressive way of being angry. Maybe you just decide, you know what? I'm gonna let them figure it out for themselves opposed to helping somebody. Those are different ways you could be passive aggressive in your anger. Then there's open aggression. That's when you cursing people out, you fighting, you know, you're ready to go in. They have set you off, you're gonna get somebody told. That's that open aggression of anger. Then you have assertive anger. And assertive anger, I think, is a healthy space to be in. If you're angry and you can articulate to people, listen, I don't appreciate being treated this way. Listen, I didn't appreciate what you did. Listen, when I see these things, it makes me feel this way. And then I don't want to respond to you, or I don't want to help you. I don't want to assess you. That's being assertive with your anger in a very positive way. Okay. Speaking of being assertive in a positive way, well, oftentimes people think if you get angry, that's a bad thing. Angry isn't always a bad thing. Anger can motivate you to do something about a particular problem. I don't like that they're mistreating people. So you get angry. You may protest. You may come up with solutions. That's a very positive way to deal with anger. Here's a problem. Our people are being hurt. What do? We go in and help those that's being hurt. We go in and stop the hurt from taking place. We go and put things into place. If I know that you leaving a cup on the table or breaking my stuff is going to cause me to be angry, I might move the things out of the way to keep you from breaking it so that I don't get angry. Those are positive ways to address and deal with anger. Now, here are some bad effects of having anger. Unmanaged anger can cause headaches, can cause digestion problems. You get your abdominal pains and all of these issues and things that come from anger resolving and not being resolved within the body. It can increase anxiety. Unresolved anger creates depression, high blood pressure. It can have skin problems like eczema. And most important, if you don't deal with anger, it can cause you to have a heart attack. Those are your bad effects of anger. So what is it we want to learn how to do? Tap into our inhibitions when we want to control anger. There is the belief system, which is your internal inhibitions. What are things that are wrong? It's wrong to just cuss people out for no reason. It's wrong to be mad at somebody or something and then take it out on someone else. That it's wrong to just go around hitting people. Those are things that you are taught and learn how to get along in a community. Those are your internal inhibitions. And then you have external inhibitions. Inhibitions being anything that you could do to stop a problem from happening. I touched on that just a few moments ago. If you know the kids might break something in your house, you move those things out the way so the kids don't have opportunity to get to them and break them. If you know that you want your things taken care of in a certain way, you share that with guests. You share that with people. Hey, let's lend you my book, but wash your hands first because I don't like fingerprints and food all over my pages on my book. Can you do me a favor when you come into my home? I like to keep my place a certain way. Can you remove your shoes? These things will keep you from being angry on the back end because you see a stain or something in your carpet or you feel like your space has been invaded because you did not take the time to say, hey, this is the expectations. This is what I want moving forward so that we can get along without being angry. So you have to learn to deal with your belief systems and hold true to that, and also your external things that you can do to take care of those. You got to understand what triggers you, what causes you to be angry. And there are three main categories of anger. Irritants, that's those things, the little things that people do that might make you angry. I might not like listening to people, so that may irritate me. So if I know I'm dealing with someone that speaks that way, I got to put myself in a state of, okay, don't be irritated by the ums. Let people be themselves and be within myself calm. Make yourself aware of what's going to take place. Irritants might be, I don't like you leaving my door open, okay? Maybe I have to install something on my door that makes the door completely closed when a person comes through because people sometimes are in a rush and may forget to close the door. You got to start thinking through those processes of how to confront and deal with anger. Another thing that causes anger is cost. If it's going to cost you something, you might get angry. I just bought all this food and you threw it in the trash. You took 2 bites off this plate of food and threw it in the trash. That's going to make you angry. You're in the house, everybody's all crammed up under each other. And every time you turn around, somebody is in your stuff. Somebody is using your things. Somebody is taking your things. That may cost you to be angry. So you got to establish boundaries and make people aware of, hey, this is going to cost. And I don't want to lose this. I might offer you something. If it might not be something you like, can you taste it first? Because I don't want you to waste. You set things in place to prevent you from having a cost issue on the back end. Another thing is transgressions. Transgressions make you angry when you feel like you've just been wronged or you're witnessing something that's wrong taking place. You know, on the news, you see all of these things where people are getting upset because somebody is outside and they're in a large crowd and they're not wearing a mask right now. You know, people are getting angry behind that because you feel that's a transgression. How dare you be outside not wearing a mask? And then you could come into my space and give it to me. Sometimes we're angry on that level and we don't even have any contact with those people, aren't going to have any contact with those people, but we have internalized that transgression. Somebody said something about me, you know, you need to keep my name out your mouth. You know, we create transgressions to be upset and attack people because whatever you heard about what somebody said might not even be accurate, might not be the intent that a person had, but we have already gone from, because we haven't properly processed what's taking place, what's actual, what can affect me, what can't affect me. People are responsible for themselves. You can only be responsible for yourself. And you can't allow what is perceived to be one thing throw you way off because it might not be accurately displayed. Okay. Now I want to sum this up with just giving you some ideas and some other things that you can look at and think about to help you deal with anger. Think before you act. And that's important. Like I said, somebody might give you a half story. You know, you might not have the complete picture of what's going on. And there are situations where you can be valid in being angry. But even in being angry, instead of just popping off, instead of just going off, think about that. Okay, this is what took place. Here's how I can handle it. Think solution oriented. Here's how I resolve this situation. Here's how I prevent this situation from happening again in a process. 1, calm your anger down. Before you react, take a few moments. Breathe. You know, that's real important to get that breath in. Breathe. Bring the body to a calm level. Bring the body to a place where now I could think, okay, I could process this. I won't necessarily say something that's just going to be to hurt you. I'm not fighting back. You know, I'm trying to get to the space of we resolve this issue in a peaceful manner, even though you've made me angry. Get some exercise. Exercise is the best way to get out that energy. I have a heavy bag, a hidden bag. You know, I put the gloves on, and if I'm feeling some kind of way, I'll punch that bag, you know, and get all of that energy out so that it's released. I'm going to tell you, being able to release that thing is the healthiest thing you can do for your body. It restores things. It brings enzymes down. It controls the heart rate. You know, you might be a little out of breath if you ain't exercising on the usual, but eventually you're able to calm and breathe, and you will find that you feel better. I mean, even when you get mad and cuss people out, if you think about it, you feel better after you done cussed them out because it releases that energy instead of being trapped inside. But what you want to do is find that healthy way to release it. Make sure you have a positive solution. You know, it's real easy to say, oh, I'm going to get them back. It's real easy to be on get back time. But it takes more effort and it takes more concern on the front end to think about what's the positive solution. What is it that I need to achieve? What's my ultimate goal? Is my ultimate goal just to get a person told, well, that's not healthy for you or that person? But is my ultimate goal to restore peace? Is my ultimate goal to come to a place where we heal in the community? You know, and if I'm about healing and if I'm about restoration, then what I'm going to do is come up with ideas and plans that put things back into place where we're whole again, positive solutions. Another thing is use I statements when you're talking to people. Don't come to people blaming them. You did this, or you said this, or you was the other. Use I statements. You know, I feel like I've been violated. And these are the things that I perceived have taken place. And now I feel violated. And I don't want to have these feelings within me. Once you use your I statements and talk about what you are dealing with, it takes the other person off the defense. And you might even learn, well, I didn't mean to offend you. When I said that, I was joking. You know, that's my sick humor. Maybe I need to work on it. It makes people now have an opportunity to reflect and come up with positive solutions on their side, because you've taken the blame off of them and you've shared what it made you feel like. You know, a lot of people can relate to feelings. If you feel ignored, you know, at some point in their life, everyone has felt ignored at some point. So if people can relate to that, that I statement gives people an opportunity to relate to what it is you're sharing so that you all can come to a better resolve. Don't hold grudges. You know, when you hold on to stuff, that stuff festers inside. That eats you up. There are a lot of people mad at people, and people don't even know that that person is mad at them. There are people who've been mad at people for years. In that moment, whatever took place, then passed. That other person has moved on. They happy in life. They see you. Hey, what's up? They're excited to see you because they haven't seen you in a while, and you are still angry about something that happened in 1987. It's now 2020, and you still mad about that. And that person never knew you were angry. They had no clue. Don't hold on to stuff. Communicate with people. Share with people in real time after you opportunity to calm down, breathe, exercise, punch things out, you know, then come back and share with people your I statements so you can get resolved, because all that holding on does is kill you inside and physically, because after a while, we talked about the heart rate and heart attacks and all of that stuff. After a while, that stuff comes back and manifests itself in your health because you haven't done what you need to do. Use humor to release tension. You know, sometimes we gotta laugh at self. Precious, that was crazy, girl. Why'd you do that? I can't believe you did that, girl. Stop. You know, sometimes you gotta laugh at yourself to release that tension, to take yourself to another place. And laughter creates different types of enzymes and things in your body that restores the body, that makes the body feel good. I laugh more often than not when I'm in a situation that doesn't feel comfortable. People be like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's what I've trained myself to do, to release. I'm sorry. All right. All right. People might not understand. I'm not necessarily laughing at you. I'm releasing this tension right now in this space, in this moment, so that I am not carrying this. I can't afford to have this living in my body. So now I'm good. Listen, I'm not laughing at you. I just think the situation is frustration, and this is how I released it. But what I would like for us to do is come up with solutions so that we don't stay in this place. You know, that's just generally how I use those type of situations, you know. And it depends on the relationship too. I'm not gonna just laugh in somebody's face that I don't know, because that might get you another response that you don't want. That person might now, oh, it's a joke. Bam, there it is. You know, you might want to consider your relationships when you know, use that laughter situation and how that might be work. You know, practice relaxing. Reading your book, practice dancing to music, practice listening before you respond. These type of things help people process and get through what it is they need to get through so that you can move forward and have a healthy relationship. All right. And the last thing I want to do is get together your skill sets. Write down things. Like I said before, plan what it is you're going to say. Plan what it is you're going to do. Put down some keynotes, some bullet points, some things that you want to share, so that when you talk to people, you cover everything that you wanted to cover, so you don't get back later, oh, I should have said that. I should have said this. Man, I ain't even mentioned this. Write all of that out. And then make sure you have a positive approach to everything that you've written out. So when you confront anger and you deal with anger, it's coming from a restorative place. It's coming from a healthy place. It's coming from you not being mad in that moment and responding, so that at the end result, again, we come back to a healthy community and healthy relationships. That's my share today.
Right. Well, all right, all right, all right. Give thanks, Sister Precious Porter, our trauma therapist. And as you can see, yes, right in time, right in time. That's a Wonderful session. And this is what we do here. We're a collective of individual practitioners, bringing you just a little bit, something to share on, some nutrients, food from thought. And we're going to keep this flow going with our next up, our sacred arts curator, metaphysician, precious mother love, with a little something to add to the topic. Unmute. And also Precious Porter's information is in the contact us. Precious Mother Love unmutes herself, or we're looking at unmute here, but it's not seeming to.
You're still muted, Precious.
Yes. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Unmute.
I think she's saying you may have to unmute her.
Yeah, my person is hitting this unmute button. It's not doing anything. Unmute audio. It's not. Okay, so as we get this technical situation resolved, sooner or later, let's just keep the flow moving with the flow of Dr. Yu, our herbologist, founder of U360 in the house, with a little insight on ascending anger. Doc?
Indeed. Well, peace again, family. I'll speak to it from more or less an energetic and herbal standpoint. And, one of the things that is associated with the anger inside of the body is the liver organ. So whenever we want to address helping to balance, to moderate somebody's anger and their anger response, we always look to what type of herbs can help to cleanse the liver, what type of foods that can help to cleanse the liver. And typically speaking, we tend to go towards things that are bitter tasting herbs and sour tasting herbs. These help to move the energy inside of the liver. So that way those emotion, or that particular emotion, anger, frustration, can escape and doesn't stay trapped inside of the body. So what type of herbs are bitter? What types of foods are bitter? Well, we talk about things like dandelion greens. We talk about things like turnip greens, grapefruit. We can look at even lime to a certain degree. We can look at mustard greens. These are certain types of foods that are considered more like on the bitter tasting side that help to move that energy. On the sour side, most of us are familiar with sour, lemons, most berries, are on the sour side of things as well. Other citrus fruits like pineapple and things of that nature have kind of like a cooling kind of an effect on the body, because when we talk about anger, a lot of times it's like, okay, you feel this heat kind of rising inside of the body. So to counter that, you want to do things that are going to kind of help to cool you down, cool that energy down. So some traditions, don't believe in eating like a lot of garlic or a lot of hot peppers or a lot of ginger and things like that when you are in a state of anger, because it can help to fuel that energy. So to do more things that are kind of like cooling down the body, again, those types of fruits, those bitter greens, things like that are more helpful. On an herbal side, chamomile is a really good one to help with calming down the anger piece, especially when you're going through it. Chamomile is really good in that regard, and lavender is really good in that regard as well for many people. Those are things that help to work to kind of calm the nerve aspect of it. For something to take as what we would call a tonic, there's an herb that's called vervain, Vervain. Vervain is a really good herb for the liver and also for the nervous system. This was called the nervine. which helps to strengthen the nerves. So that way you don't get agitated so easily from a nervous standpoint. And then you also have the last herb that I'll speak about briefly is called Schisandra. Schisandra is a type of berry, and it's a very unique type of berry actually that's used in herbal medicine, particularly coming from the Asian countries. But very, very powerful kind of a medicine for the adrenal glands, but it also helps with the liver, and it helps to protect the liver from oxidative damage, which means it helps to protect the liver from breaking down, basically. And it helps also, again, with keeping the energy moving inside of the liver, protecting it from things that may enter into the body and potentially cause damage. Very high in antioxidants, and it's a very easy berry to use because whereas some things, it's available in a number of different forms, as most of these herbs are, many of them come in the bulk herbal form, where you can use that to make teas. Some of them come as tinctures, which is what you would see in the little dropper bottles, and some of them come as capsules, and then some of them are also edible. And with the Schisandra berries, you can take actually some of the berries and you can just kind of put them in your mouth and just kind of suck on them throughout the day. And that's a really easy way to utilize that. Even some of the other ones I mentioned, the chamomile, the lavender, you can incorporate those things into your food. You can actually use that into whether it's soups or anything that you would boil. It could be even rice or anything like that. Anything that you would boil on the stove, you can incorporate that in there. We don't want to use anything like microwaves to prepare our food because the radiation from the microwave, uh, it alters the nature of the food and makes it something that the body doesn't process well. And the liver is one of the major organs that's responsible for helping to process things in the body. So, with that, we want to avoid any kind of microwave foods. We want to avoid uh, things that are very, very high in fat, and we want to avoid things like alcohol, which we know impairs the function of the liver. So we want to keep that energy moving. Those are some really simple things that you can incorporate on a day in and day out basis, that can help to address anger from an herbal standpoint and from a food standpoint. There are many, many more things that could be added to the list. Milk thistle and the dandelion. I spoke about the dandelion greens that can be used as a tea as well as the dandelion root. So many different things in herbal medicine that help to address the liver. But a good rule of thumb, again, is the sour foods, the bitter foods, or bitter herbs and sour herbs, to kind of help to keep the energy moving for the liver and help to address and calm down anger. So that is my bit on that. The last thing that I would say, just kind of feeding off of what Sister Precious had offered in terms of environment and how, we respond to people around us and how people around us respond to us. One of the things that there's a book that's called The Four Agreements. Really good book to check out. I love the perspective that is shared in that particular book. And one of the things is don't take things personally. And a lot of times that's difficult for many of us to incorporate because we are not used to that. We, can have a tendency sometimes to just react to things. And we take it from a personal standpoint because that's our point of reference. But sometimes when you view things from outside of just your own point of reference, and you strive to view things from somebody else's point of view and give them the benefit of the doubt, or just understand what they may be going through. Sometimes that will help you to not take things as personally because you can relate to it. It's just like if a baby smacks you, you know, uh, the baby may not know that it's not good to smack people. So, you know, if you put yourself in the mindset of, oh, this is a baby, I can understand the baby smack. Next time I just hold the baby's hand, or next time I'm going to say, I don't do that, you know. That can help to moderate where, oh, I gotta smack this baby to the ground, you know, which doesn't make sense to us in you know, but sometimes when we're caught up in the moment and we take things personally, that kind of thing that kind of emotion and that kind of thought can come to the surface. So that's a good bit. And the other piece is, you know, if, you know, we are communicating the way that Sister Precious had laid out so eloquently, and our communication is not really being taken heed to, then it may be good to remove ourselves from that situation before things escalate to a higher level. So that's my bit for today. I hope everyone found this useful, and Precious Mother Love is back on. So I am going to pass that baton and hopefully hear some of the great advice that she has to offer as well. Peace and blessings, everyone.
One Love and Wellness. Thank you, Doc, for that. I missed a portion of it, but the tail end and the beginning sounded like it was good. So I'm gonna go back and get the meat and potatoes. You know, because if anybody does want to go back to any of our other shows, it is on our live tab on the Collective Health Initiative page. You'll find it there. So a lot of the things that Precious Porter spoke to are things that I would also talk about or cover. So I want to go in on a couple of other areas. We both seem to travel in a similar lane, whereby we assist others in managing their feelings or their anger, or tweaking things in their personality that might help them to have a happier life. How about that? But one of the things I wanted to mention is anger is just another feeling. It's just another mood. It's another choice that you make when things start to happen to you. And it has, like she mentioned, triggers, which triggers can also come from expectations, things that you are expecting to happen a certain way. If it doesn't happen that way, then you might, you know, be a little off. And I can appreciate some of the ways that she responded and how she would handle it, you know, because laughter is one of the things that they say is the best medicine. But laughter also induces a certain endorphin in you as well. So it'll release some of that happy feeling and put you into a better place, even if it's a forced laugh, because that's you breaking the tension, that's you breaking the mood, that's you altering your behavior. And so instead of responding in kind with what the person is, that energy that they might be giving you, you can pick and choose another mood. You can alter your mood, or become a personified alter ego. You know, some people use a different name for when they are responding a certain way. You know, I know people who name those alter egos. And just like Beyonce does, you know, she calls herself B or Bae when she's that bad girl, or when she has to go in and handle things in a more aggressive way. And as it was said before, you know, there is a passive aggressive, there is an open aggressive, and I had to take notes on that note. And then there's the assertive anger. So some of the things that I think that'll help with dispelling some of the anger is getting to the bottom of the mood. You know, it's a choice. It's always a choice. If you choose to respond in such a way that you're going to blow your top, if you've seen the cartoons where they, you know, they get red faced and they blow their top, woo, it's, you know, you're blowing your haystack at that point. Anger can get you to that point. And there are ways that you have to practice, or you can practice new habits. And this is what we've been talking about, to master your moods. Mastering your mood means that you're taking control of yourself. And a lot of times it's just like a ship. If you're steering a ship, it doesn't turn its course like It doesn't turn like that. You got to inch by inch, angle by angle, degree by degree, bit by bit. It happens in a slower motion fashion. And if you're able to grab yourself, like you said, break it with laughter, or see your position differently. For instance, when you compare yourself or your situation or your result to what you expected, you can release those expectations, learn something from the situation, and guide it in a better way next time. They say if you keep doing the same thing the same way, what is that, insanity? Because you're going to get the same result.
Expecting a different result.
Right, that's insanity. So you've got to pick something to do different. That is your choice, because nobody gets angry for you. You choose that. Nobody makes you angry. You choose that. So you have to soften it up for yourself and start realizing if you need to take a walk, if you need to take a breather, if you need to change your mind, because that's basically what it is you have to change your own mind when it's that time. And that's with any mood, that's with any emotion. You can choose how you're going to resolve that emotion, even including the emotion of love. You can be passive in that case as well. This is the opposite of anger. You can be passive aggressive, when someone is flirting with you, or you could be flirting with danger on the anger side. So it's the same scenario of how that energy is going to move through you. You just choose how you want to resolve that energy. So again, I mentioned laughing helping to release endorphins, but if you, and when you're looking at and observing your situation, hindsight, a lot of times you'll see it a lot more clearly. So observe what happened. Oh, she said this, or he said that, and that triggered certain thoughts in my mind. And this is me, after all of the fussing and all of the, energy, and after all of the whatever way you get it out your system, go back and look at it, analyze it. What did I do to make it get that way? And if you've never thought that way, then if you've never wanted to analyze your past scenarios and realize where were you at fault, what was your contribution, how did you elevate the situation, that is the only way that you're going to get past it. It's almost like you're healing that sore. You're poking at it so that it can get the salve and the salve that it needs for you to smooth it over. And that's you healing yourself. You going inside, internally. What was that trigger? What triggered me in that case? So if you don't mind, it won't matter. But how easy are you able to adjust your mental outlook on things to not mind and make it not matter? Because there are things that in my past that people did that now I look at like, I give them a straight face, because I can't go there with you anymore. I have to know where my boundaries are and what's going to push me. Now, when I get into those scenarios and I'm fuming mad and I'm working myself up, I have to calm myself down. I'm the only one that control me. Yes, other people outside me can influence me one way or the other. Precious, calm down. Precious, take a deep breath. Why don't you go take a walk? Why don't you, go look at a comedy program? Why don't you put on that Richard Pryor record that always makes you bust your side, bust your stitches? Do something, and you have to do it for yourself. Can't nobody love you like you do. So love yourself enough to take the control and not let it go willy-nilly. If you allow it to go off the chain, off the charts, off the easy for sheezy, that's where you're gonna go. So you have to put your GPS in place. If you decide you want to rise above and manage yourself in a better way, and anger management, it's not a cliche phrase, it's the truth. manage yourself, your affairs autonomously. Govern yourself in such a way that you're not going to harm, because they're not mad at you. Well, let's put it this way. You can't control their anger if they decide to be angry. But when you're angry, most times they're, I can't say it's always you're a one-sided situation, but when you're angry, it only affects you. It doesn't affect them until you start to become fictitious with it, and start to do something of a non-harmony response. Harmonious response is talk it out, and try to see their side of it as well. If you're not ready to talk, and you need some solitude and some peace, sometimes the things that we've been talking about all along can be used in these scenarios. Meditate, do some yoga. Sister Porter talked about all the things that we continue to tell each other. How well you work it is how well it's going to work. So apply yourself. If this doesn't work for you, try something else. Swimming, boxing, horse riding, gardening, embroidery, knitting, watch a comedy. All these things are other ways to exhaust an emotion. And those energies in motion in us are going to find a place to go, whether we send it there or not. And then when it sends itself to these places, it's going to find the weakest spot in your body. If your heart is an issue, it will affect your heart. The weakest link could be, I don't know, you have a cavity in your mouth and a toothache comes about. Or the weakest link could be, you have a imbalance in your, let's say you eat a lot of salt or something, then you end up getting a headache every time you get mad. Because you have to do some balancing things for yourself, whether it's including, not whether, but including what you eat, how you think, all of your physical body is being affected just as well as your emotional body, just as well as your spiritual body. Everything that these things all are in a synergistic harmony normally. But when that harmony is off, you've got to create the peace. You have to be the controlling factor as to how to resolve this relies solely on you. Pick and choose the right things for yourself. I have a phrase, the right thing for the right reason. So sometimes it's okay to say what you need to say and get it out. And other times, know thyself. This is a science of self. The better you get to know yourself and what your causes and triggers are, the better you can resolve your concerns and what's going on with you. So I do offer laughter classes, but it also tickles your solar plexus. Your solar plexus in your stomach is also another one of those receptor areas. So you may end up getting a stomach ache every time you get to a certain emotional place, because your tummy is then sending you signals that you need to work on something, on whatever that is. Because you can either have, say butterflies because you're anxious about something, or you can end up having to go to the bathroom real quick because, things are upsetting your tummy so badly. Another way of your energy working itself through your body, and that physical response is now kicking in. So it's usually pretty heavy duty when your body has these physical responses. Again, it's mind over matter.
Indeed.
So if you
don't Mother Love, not to interrupt you, but two things. One, the time is running short, and the other thing is that there was a question from a viewer that I wanted to make sure that you had the opportunity to address really quickly. The viewer stated, I would like some perspective on once triggers arise, how to turn around and not go into the trigger. For me, it's in my body.
Okay. Sister Porter, you can speak to this as well, but I believe, again, it's the choices, and you have to know yourself well enough to know when that trigger arises. See it coming. If you know that's a trigger for you, when you see it coming, if you have to take some deep breaths or think about your happy place, think about some clouds. I'm a fluffy kind of person. And as a child, when things would come to me and it would make me upset, I swear to God, no lie, my hand on the Bible, I look up at the clouds and start looking at the formations, and that calms me down. And that's in numerous scenarios. I just want to go outside and get some fresh air. That's me, and that's how I would handle it. But there are some more clinical ways that
I would
I'm
say,
sure Precious
look
Porter has
at
some
the issue
experience
that's
with.
causing you to be angry. You know, find out reality. What is this? Is this an immediate threat? Is this something that's going to harm me? Is this something that I can resolve within myself, even though I know this is going to make me angry? Why is it going to make me angry? Evaluate those things, you know. And if this is going to make me angry, and I know this is going to make me angry, what can I do in this space right now that would take me out of this? Sometimes confronting isn't the thing to do in that moment when you know you're going to be angry. Sometimes it takes you stepping away and moving away from that position to allow you to now think about it, process it, and like I said, put together, this is how I'm going to respond to that. You know, that's how you deal with that. What is your plan in response when these things happen? If you know certain things make you angry, you should already have about 3 to 5 things that you're going to already be able to tell yourself that's going to calm you down, that you're going to be able to respond to that situation. You put those things in place already, and it just becomes second nature to do that. And when you're talking with somebody or dealing with somebody, listen to what that person is saying, because sometimes we're angry and being triggered, and the message that we're getting isn't the message that that person is trying to convey. So you might want to say it. So what I hear you saying is that, you know, every time I walk in a room, you know, I do X, Y, and Z, and that upsets you. And then you come at me and then we're upset. And that person might be saying, I'm not saying every time you walked in the room. What I'm saying is when you came in today, I was feeling this way. And so when you did that, it triggered me. So now our mindset can be placed at ease because we're listening to what the other person is saying. We're now thinking through our responses instead of just going off. So you might say, so what I hear you saying is, you know, you just don't like me. And that person be like, oh no, I adore you. You know, what happened was you did this and that made me feel some kind of way. But you as a person I love, I just didn't like this thing that happened right now in this moment. So we are able to come away from these things that trigger us, you know, because we've been able to listen to the other person and then restate what we hear them saying, so that we might get a clear picture of this is what's taking place. What I hear you saying gives room to that other person to say, no, that's not the situation at all. Or it might be, that's exactly the situation. Now, it's not going to always be a positive response for you. Now you know that this is what it is. Now you start making agreements to disagree, or you start making agreements. Well, you know, when we're in each other's space, you know, we'll stay in the opposite sides of the room. I'll let you do what you need to do, or you allow me to do what I need to do, so that we don't have this combustion of this matters coming together. You know, we have
some new habits.
Situation. You know, this is how we function until we get to a space of we can really appreciate what other persons have to offer, and mutual responses to that is, I respect what you have to bring to the table. You respect what I have to bring to the table. We respect each other in this space. And that might not always look like you being my friend. That might always look like us hanging out together. But at the end of the day, it's about a healthy whole self. It's about healthy whole communities. It's about healthy responses and exchanges with one another.
Absolutely. Master Chef, any closing words, closing thoughts?
Indeed, indeed. Couple of things real quick just to add. The sister also mentioned about it being in the body, which is a very accurate description, again, because as energies, if we're not released, if we keep holding the same thought pattern, the same feelings, it becomes heavy and heavy enough. And like manna from heaven, it becomes a thing in the body because it just densifies over time. So it is a thing that we feel in the body. And as far as movement, yes, movement is a wonderful thing, because any type of movement shaking, you're really shaking up the energies inside the body. And there are certain movements, Qigong and Tai Chi, even certain yoga movements that directly will assist with shifting energy. As Doc mentioned, the organ is the liver. From my person's perspective, the chakra is the third chakra, the solar plexus. And there's a correlation between the third chakra And Mars, the planet, the energy of Mars. We familiar with martial arts, martial law, you know, fighting, aggression, military. So that Mars energy, that hot and dry energy, you know, the planet Mars, meaning from Mars, meaning from Venus, nonetheless, that energy is in all of us. And that manifests, really speaking, in the third chakra area, the solar plexus area, the liver. You know, a lot of alcoholics become boisterous and angry, things like this, because the liver is being attacked. So when I look at is any triggers that come up, of course, breathing helps. That breath is always there to immediately begin to calm down. If it's possible to move as your person breathe, that's two things. And if there is a trinity, it would be the thoughts, the affirmation. Because the thought is, the thinking is, the theory is, if we're moving and breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth to release, and moving to release the energy, we're getting rid of the old wine, so to say. So put the new wine in, maybe, for example, from my person's perspective, third chakra, the anger, Mars. You may want to remind yourself that everyone has a right to free will. It's just about free will. And I shouldn't let how you use your free will really, you know, they're saying what you eat don't make me use the bathroom. So how you use your free will shouldn't allow me to be out of my peace. In theory. If it is, there's just something we want to look at. Why is what you do moving from my peace? There's something to look at while you're doing your exercise and your breathing, as well as saying, how should I use this Mars energy, this energy for action? One way to say, what is it that's on my list that I keep saying I'm gonna do? I need to do this, I need to do that. I keep saying it, but I haven't gotten around to it. So you can transfer from what someone else is using, how they're using their free will, to say, well, how am I using my free will to become a better me, whether it be healthier, wealthier, or wise? How am I using my own free will to do that? Again, that's that Mars energy. That how do you use this intention? The solar plexus, it's called the solar plexus for solar power, baby. Nonetheless, with that, real quick, just another couple of crystals that may assist with that as well. That facilitates change in the chakras, the third chakra. That is the citrine, as well as the tiger's eye. Again, both assist with the third chakra, 1, 2, and 3 in a sense. And it helps to use this Mars energy in a more focused way, how to use your energy in a more focused way. And again, the power with crystals is that they really don't change their vibration. We as people, we can change if it's too hot, too cold, somebody say something, you know, we can change our vibration. But these crystals can be right next to each other. They're different colors, and yet they maintain their vibratory frequency. So grab a couple of crystals, breathe, exercise. Just a little insight again on working with triggers as they happen in real time, in now time, to just get rid of it. Out with the old, in with the new. And like anything, the more practice that we do, the better we come at it. So that's my little, you know, add to the plethora of information that's already out there. Just as a reminder that on our web page, you can actually contact any of us directly, see all the products that we have on the web page in one area, as well as soon you will see all of the services, as well as our HMO packages, you know, to be introduced to the public. So again, we give thanks for tuning in to an episode of the Health Class You Never Had. Follow us on Facebook, the Collective Health Initiative, on our page. We have a YouTube channel, you know, that's straight videos. And send us a message, a question, you know, as you go back and watch the videos, because again, we will get back to the questions in a timely fashion. And yes, go ahead, Mother Love.
Well, I want to wish a happy belated Mother's Day to all those who we didn't say Happy Mother's Day to. You know, even those that are acting like a mother, surrogate mother, foster mother, Mama Elaine, she has that name. She comes by it legitimately. She's like the mother, one of the mothers of our group. I didn't also mention, I want to praise everybody that has gotten well, who is in the process of getting well, or connecting with that healthy person inside of them. And we've shared a whole bunch of great information. I'm so proud of what we put out there on the table today. I hope we gave you something that you can utilize in one way or another. It's been, this is the third of our 4 emotional series. What's next week's topic? Do we have
Soaring over sadness. Soaring over sadness.
Soaring over sadness.
All right,
So-
family, that's our time.
Yep.
So please join us next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can stream us live again from the Collective Health Initiative page. Join us for the health class you never had. Peace and blessings, everyone.
One love and wellness.
Yep.
Peace.
And Precious, you're a drummer, Emma, right?
Yeah, and, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.